The
Good
question
morning,
everyone
David.
now is asking is, when's the next cut going to be?
Okay. Our next policy meeting will be on Feb 6th next year. So
So suffice to
we have posts because we want to find out how the 75 basis points that we did this year and 400 basis points cut in the reserve requirement is going through the system. So, and then, of course, the recent development is that the Fed said they won't cut for the entire 2020, and the ECB also. So that gave us maybe more time to pause and find out where we're going next year.
So, Governor Diokno, is that the same as saying that it's reasonable to assume that the BSP can also be on hold for the rest of next year? Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate. I think
Okay.
we're maybe considering maybe around 50 basis points next year, and we have more time on the reserve requirement because my promise is that we would cut the reserve requirement to single digit by the end of my term, which is 2023. So that's about right now it's 14%. So it's single digit 9%. That's 500 basis points over 14 quarters. So more time on the reserve requirement cut.
And Governor Diokno, what would then be the catalyst for that further cut in the reserve requirements then?
Well, as you know, we're data dependent and also evidence based. So we want to find out that this whatever actions we'll take will be consistent with the growth targets of the Philippine government, and which right now is for next year we expect to grow by midpoint 7%, between 6.5 to 7.5, up to 2022. That's the target.
Right, and Governor Diokno, pretty much every economist that at least I've spoken to recently has the Philippines as the fastest growing economy in the region for next year. That's their forecast. My question then becomes are you seeing any signs of inflationary pressures because growth is picking up?
No. In fact, our staff has forecasted that inflation will be maybe stable around 2.9%. That's within our target of 2 to 4%, 3% plus or minus 1%. So we're pretty happy with where we are for the next 2 years.
Right. And when it comes to, I guess, the lending part of the business, you oversee the banks as well. You talked about reducing the RRR or reserve requirements. There doesn't seem to be a proportionate pickup, though, in bank lending. Why do you think that is?
Well, as you know, monetary policy works with a lag. So that's why we have to stop at this point and find out how they will respond to the significant cuts in the reserve requirement. So maybe a lag of maybe 6 months to 9 months. That's about 2 to 3 quarters. So we cannot conclude on the basis of what we have seen thus far that there is a slowdown in lending. In fact, the liquidity has increased, but lending has been rather slow in picking up. So we'll allow them to maybe another quarter or two.
Just bringing in your earlier comment as well on definitely being on hold for next year is at the moment unlikely at the moment. But given the patience that you are exuding as well here, Governor, is it safe to assume that the BSP is prepared to wait at least 1 or 2 quarters for everything that you mentioned to come to fruition?
We're not starting from zero. Last year we increased the policy rate by 175 bips, and right now we are able to cut it only by 75 basis points. So I would like to go back to the old setup as soon as possible. But as I said, we'll look at the data and the evidence. So it could be as early as Feb, or could be as late as maybe the second quarter.